Hi guys, good morning from London, 11:50 on the 11th of August. The pound had briefly got below 128 again on the futures. Morgan Stanley recently came out and said a WTO Brexit outcome has a 40% chance of occurring, previously 25%, so that might have weighed on things a touch. We also saw UK and Japan actually agree on a trade deal from 2021. So mixed fortunes for the pound today. We're just having a look at this on the shorter time frame. Going into the close of the week, a little area to be aware of just above the pivot, basically the low from Thursday. You'd feel the bulls, if there are any left right now, will want to see price finish above there, and I would say the fact that we're actually below 130.44 is pretty key anyway. You can see this just as an area of support. Interestingly, today we have moved over to the December contract on futures, so that's why you would have seen just a bit of illiquidity from those previous days. But looking here on that daily continuation, I think the fact that, like I said, we finished below, or we're looking like we're going to finish below 130 is pretty key. This sort of last standing bit of support here, so not looking too good for the bulls. However, if, and it is a big if at the moment, we were to finish above these highs that we had from the 10th of June and 22nd of July, that would be a little victory as an area where it could find support, perhaps. Moving over to the euro, ECB, we had initial hawkish reaction, then dovish, and we're continuing to push on for now. Areas to be aware of, I would say the high of yesterday is obviously one to mark up. It also marks an area of resistance from the second. Looking at, well, really where we're trading now, this would have been a key point to keep an eye on. So where we finish the midday hour, the 240 close around here will be important. So keep a watch on that. Bullish above, bearish below. To the downside area around the pivot looks pretty key for me. And I'd also have a trend line on from the low of the week up to the overnight lows, which you can see has been quite well respected. So really X marks the spot where I would be looking for potential shorts. Moving over to equities, which were briefly on their highs of the day, but you can see it's a very slow grind, not too much going on. The high of the day also marks yesterday morning's low. Key area going into the end of the week where you'd want to see, if you're bullish, price finish above, the bears see price below there. More important, if we are to push higher, you can see yesterday's double top was also an area of support. You can see around here early hours on the 8th, and also the low of the morning of the 3rd, which was very well respected. So more of a key level above there, 34.13, that I'd be keeping a watch on. But just before that, bit of line in the sand for the day, 33.64. Like with the other the currency pairs, bit of a trend line on from the lows, potentially worth having on as an area of support. Also, I think that the bulls won't want to see price get below 33.37, which is, you can see here, an area of support that's been relatively well respected. Would also mark up with that potential trend line. Quick look over at gold, which has been it's been confused. I would say line in the sand for me is 1959. Good resistance over the last couple of days, turned into support yesterday around sort of 520 before being resistance. Is the pivot today. That for me is a good enough guide. And also just below the S1, I'll be keeping a watch on that. Really, and then obviously 1967 as well. Really, those are the only levels at the moment that I'm interested in. Oil, to wrap it up quickly, it's not doing much. It seems relatively slow. Yesterday didn't do too much either with the inventories. I'd almost be tempted just to let this day fizzle out for oil, unless we can really have an attack at getting above these highs, and above there, above sort of 37.50. I think 38 could come a bit sooner, but I'd be patiently waiting and not looking to attack today. The morning so far has been pretty quiet.